Hello everybody, this is Phil. I'm doing a quick video because I said I would, and I hinted to doing one a while ago about my project with the tobacco. And so after a year, here it is, a year, basically in a few months, I've made 4 of these. They're sitting in the refrigerator, and I turn them over. If you remember earlier videos, I turn them over every couple of months, so all those juices stay in there. And to tell you honestly, I forgot what these were. Apple juice simmered down with the tobacco, and I remember no molasses. So this is straight tobacco juices and apple juice simmered down. And I'm trying to remember if I put anything else in it, like honey, I think I did. Anyways, I remember it was fairly strong, so I'm going to open this up in a moment and do a taste test because I said I would. It's still very dark. It's still very, there's kind of a reflection that makes it look like there's ants in there moving. That's a reflection from the wetness and the condensation. But anyways, I've tried it since here and there, and it's very strong. You can put it in, and literally it can stay there for almost 2 hours. That's how juicy it is, and it's very flavorful. I did not lie about that before the stuff I made. The second batch I threw out because they were in those black plastic containers with the clear top, and one of them had mold on top. I don't know how that happened, or maybe it was a different ingredients. But I remember I did this more conventionally, researching YouTube, and with the exception of not using molasses. I believe I used honey and apple juice. And I like straight tobacco flavor in the Copenhagen type flavors. Natural, it's called natural fine cut is the flavor. And it's a fine cut. This is more like pipe tobacco type size, and I couldn't really break it down that much, and I tried with one of those little tobacco shredders. Didn't work out that well at a mass level. So I did it with the pipe tobacco, and I made big batches of it. Like each batch I made, I had 4 of these. And if there was a grid down situation, absolutely no stores, no delivery systems, trucking, no oil. Okay, like they're hell bent on oppressing humanity with banning oil, and in the guise of climate change, which is a natural occurrence every 20 to 50 to 80,000 years, anyways, because of snowball Earth. Research your geological history. It's a good field to get in, and you'd learn that we're not in a speed up of heat, and we're not in a slowdown of cold right now. We're at the beginning of what they call snowball Earth for the next probably 55 to 75,000 years. At the end of that 75,000 years, let's say hypothetically, the polar ice caps and everything will start to melt, and we'll eventually get back to normal, what we're used to in our lifetime. The poles being very cold, and the middle Earth at the equator bringing all kinds of life. And that's how it works. And let's hope humans survive that long. Anyways, this is a quick video. Catch me up about the tobacco. I love tobacco. I've loved tobacco ever since I was probably 10 when I first tried it. I started chewing regularly, to be honest, probably 13, 14, playing sports in high school. And I cannot promote it for people that don't like it, or people say, oh, that's sick. I know I loved it growing up, and it's one of my loves. What I don't like is coffee. I love the flavor of coffee. I don't like the acid reflux with my bronchitis, because my esophageal tract basically goes back and forth with bronchitis. I had it from COVID now, but before being with a bunch of smokers for a year, that almost killed me, and having pneumonia at the time when I was homeless, I developed chronic bronchitis. And luckily I don't have emphysema and my lungs are clear. But I do have bronchitis, And with the esophageal tract, if you look at anatomy, I've already been diagnosed with um, basically acid reflux GERDs. It's not GERD's disease, but whenever I have something like caffeine and something from the cola products, Coca-Cola, coffee, teas, the caffeine is proven, researching this, proven to loosen up the esophageal tract, and the esophagus opens up more so acid reflux can flush occasionally if you move a certain way and burn your esophagus, and then it feels like the great mimicker. Okay, the acid reflux attacks are basically the great heart attack mimicker. It's my understanding from heart attacks and being personally involved with one more recently, heart attacks are more sudden and they can be an extended high blood pressure issue with high, I want to say, high tension, stress, and what have you. And you're up at this level, and then your heart kind of goes off center. Doctors can explain this to you better, but there's many different variables that will occur with a heart being out of rhythm and then having a heart attack. And everybody describes it as severe chest pain. Well, when you have an acid reflux attack, it's kind of the same. It's the same location, but it's basically behind the heart to the side a little. And what I've felt is not shortness of breath, but burning. And it just feels like more stress is coming, and I need to eat something to put it down or take an acid blocker right away. I don't believe in acid blockers per se, and I try to do it as healthy as possible using vinegar, okay, before each meal. Mother with the mother, they call it vinegar with the mother, apple cider vinegar with the mother, taking a teaspoon, and it's enough acid to settle your acid pumps from exploding with all this food coming down, and then the acid sits on top of your food as it slowly digests your food. I can say this from empirical evidence of how acid reflux has affected me since 2008. And by the grace of God, I'm still healthy, so I watch the coffees I drink at the different times of day and what I'm doing. Am I bending over? Am I breathing heavy where the acid is going to start going up? You know, that's part of our fight and flight mechanisms. When all that tension comes here and we stop breathing, but all the blood is rushing here so we can fight and then escape, or flight, running away, and escape in any event. So, anyways, I love my tobacco, and it's coffee that doesn't like my body and vice versa. But I love the flavor of coffee. I'm not knocking coffee nuts because I love my coffee in the morning. I really do, but I do try to tone it back. It's one of those things where I accept it, that I like it, okay? And I try to minimize its effects. Well, with tobacco, I have no issue. I've never had any issues. I've seen horror stories about that. And I cannot promote tobacco use. I cannot promote vaping equally. Vaping has all kinds of chemicals in it we are not aware of. So looking for gems also in a hodgepodge of videos I've done before. Finally found the Ruger P89, what I was looking for, Packmeyer grips. This is like the Eddie Bauer edition of the Ruger P89. Decocker, great grips. These are a man's grips, or a woman with very, very, very big hands grips. I have big hands, and I can barely put my fingers right around there, but little to no kick. I can tell you from experience shooting these before with my best friend. He had this, I had the Glock 17, and we always compared them. This was a great shooting gun. I, at the time, just didn't like it because of mechanics, and I was trained on the Glock specifically for the duty service weapon, and I loved the way it fired, but I didn't like it as a carry-all weapon. This I love now from that experience and nostalgia and history with it, and they're harder and harder to come by every year, guys. Beautiful gun. Beautiful gun. Gray here. I want to say a darker, kind of almost brown here on the whole slide. black Packmeyer grips. Beautiful. So I bought this, and it was a little less expensive than I thought it would be, but it was only 10 round magazines. So what I did was I looked up cheaper than dirt. Got the 20 rounders. It's not too far down. If I'm going to battle, I don't care about that and it being aesthetically, oh, that looks nice and it's all form fitted. Like they're starting to do with more polymer guns. So the magazine can hold more, or it's aftermarket magazine and can go right in there. You know, okay, it was a 10 rounder in a state that you bought the gun, but you buy the aftermarket magazines and basically the handle extends all the way down, and you got a lot of handle, a lot of purchase. I hate it when they say that on the gun channels. I got purchase. You got a good handle on the gun, okay? You got a good grip on the gun. You know, aesthetically speaking, I don't like those because I like a magazine that stops right there at the end. That's how I bought it, and I want the capacity to be in how I bought it. However, because it's an older gun, I bit the bullet. Bought two more, $26 each, 20 rounder magazine. And that was inexpensive. So I go to battle. I put these in my cargo pockets or in a holster that will hold them off to my side. I deploy the pistol. This is unloaded. I'm not going to do any action with it. Beautiful, $400. So under $500, basically, I have a go-to-war weapon with a proven technology, proven gun that works. I can load, hammer, then on the opposite end, right here, put it down. It safely lowers the hammer, no issues whatsoever. So I love it. I love it. This is history in me that I'm not necessarily reconstituting my previous collection as a police officer, but in my history, that's why I bought this, and I was looking for the right deal. And I had something on layaway, and I said, hey, can we extend the layaway and I buy this right now? They were like, yeah, we can do that. And I was like, okay, extend the layaway. I'll come back. I paid part of the layaway, and I paid for all of this right here. Anyways, that was a gem. If you go out there and look, you'll find that work astronomically good 20 plus years later. Okay, even the early 2000s. Whenever they stopped making the P89, count from then on to now, and they're proven reliable to this very day. And if someone has to get rid of it, it's not always because, oh, I just didn't like it, or, excuse me, oh, it was, just not to my liking, and it wasn't functioning well. And then they sell it to someone, and someone that knows what they're doing about guns can either fix it real quick, or they realize that's how the gun was made, and they make adjustments in their professionalism to shooting it better and properly than that first owner has. So does it detract from the original gun's allure and its functionality? Not really. Most gun users do not put tens of thousands of rounds through just one gun constantly. I love guns, so I will shoot them all to get a feel for it and feel confident in my mind what that feels like if I can carry it. And I might not be 100% proficient with it where I'd be at the range practicing daily like police officers, like the military. But I know I can deploy it in a self-defense situation safely. I know what that gun is going to do, because you don't want to be startled when you use a gun. You got to minimize that. When the bang itself without earplugs is enough to startle you, you could have rounds going all over the place. I've been there, done that. Anyways, that being said, with this hodgepodge, I put my my documentary out on GoFundMe and Give, Send, Go, and no one has really contributed that much money except for one person. But I'm going to leave it open because there's going to be a time where I hope there is an angel funds investor that is there for the angel funds to donate money to up and coming artists. And as a 54-year-old artist, never doing a movie before, I look forward to that. But I think it's well worth it because of my literary skill and writing before. Am I the best writer ever? No. But I study my skill almost daily the more I type online and delve into politics. And yes, I'm a satirist at heart. I'm sarcastic and sardonic. And I'm kind of cutthroat like that because that is our enemy out there, just spewing as much negativity and foul lies and vitriol with those lies, and vice versa, about racism in this world, about Republicans in this world, about Christians in this world. Anybody being pro-life is a white supremacist. Does that make sense to you? Anybody that believes in racial harmony and not segregating is a white supremacist because they're not for women getting equal pay in the workplace. Does that make sense? Women do a better job than most men in the office and in indoors technical things all the time. And I'm one that has to compete with women to do a good job. And to me, it's fun working side by side with women that do a great job. There's no animosity there. But the evil people online make me a satirist. Okay. And if you're telling me that a gay couple can raise a child better, I question that in that how do you expect society to evolve with the proliferation of our offspring, one man, one woman, making babies? And that's the cornerstone of any great society, the education between those two, and then passing it on to their children. But you have one female, and that child doesn't get to understand the male point of view or have a healthy respect for men, or vice versa. Two men, does that daughter have a healthy respect for women in general? The missing woman, the missing link, the missing link, her mother? No, that's breeding unintelligent people to become victims and always look at the world through the prism of being slightly off, but not understanding what God's intent is. One man, one woman, child. Do it again, you have children. Do it more, you have more children. Anyways, I become sardonic online. I know that. And I bet you if I was told from a newspaper, you are hired now, come in and do an article twice a week for good pay, about $2,000, I could do that. And very little editing know-how, very little style book education would be needed. You have to study the style book if you want to be a good author. And it's basically learning the do's and don'ts of when you report about people, how you do headers, how you not blame people by explaining the whole story. The style book comes out every year, and you need to study that. I've had the 2004 style book for a long time now, and it's basically, they make some adjustments here and there. What is apropos? What is politically correct? What is proper when you do online or you do publicly paid for work? I want to say artwork, but when you do an editorial or you do an actual informative news story, how you become a journalist respectfully without getting sued. That's what the style book is, and it comes out every year, I believe. I'm almost certain it's every year because I've seen them in different years. But anyways, so my GoFundMe's and Give, Send, Go are out there, and I'm still waiting for the first, I want to say, angel funder, because angel investor, you look at that, it's like, yeah, those people are investors, but they're not angels. Okay, I'm not biting the hand that might feed me one day, but it gives you a false sense of someone is giving something to you. Yes, they're helping you out to fund a project, but they're also going to make sure that you're over the barrel for the returns, and all the money that you get is going to be used so they feel comfortable with what you're doing. And so you have little to no say in how the money is spent. less and less and less and less. And so I joined a couple sites at first, and then there was like at the end 3 different sections you can sign up for. No money down, and they give you a list of people. You send emails to them, receive 0 emails back about what your plans are to make a movie or a documentary or to fund a project, an art project. And then one is you join now 94, you get lists of hundreds of people that want to fund a project. Okay, and it's like, okay, I'm looking for angel funders, people who have, I want to say, a love of art, writing, videos, movies, screenplays, screenwriting. I don't know. Maybe they want to promote an individual person that wants to go on a art retreat somewhere in the Bahamas. I don't know. Okay. But it happens, and it only happens in America if it's a sad story, it's a minority story, and someone can grease their virtue and their basic ego, their egotistical whims all over the place. I'm looking for an actual angel funder who wants to donate free and clear and see a good product occur. Because what's going to happen, and part of the reason of this video is describing how I have a GoFundMe account for this documentary, is I get all the funding I need. That's going to spur on, because of the snowball effect and building capital with this first project that is going to be feature length, about 2 hours long, and ready for sale all over the United States and all over the globe. Deaths at the Lake, or the Deaths of Lake Accotink, same thing. What's going to happen is those funds I'm going to reinvest in actual entertainment movies that are fiction. 2, 3, 20, 25. I have so many short stories right now sitting on ice. No one will look at it, and no one will give me an honest opinion. Oh, we read parts of that. Thank you. It's just not what we're looking at. That's not a review. Okay? That's someone that has their finger up their ass, and they don't want to read the whole thing and then make an informed decision. Oh, what are the costs going to be to promote this book, to publish it and promote it? I'll work with the publisher. I have no problem going to a signing event, okay, or promoting something. Maybe eventually movies, going to the premiere viewing of a movie of mine, and showing up publicly to promote it for that person, that publisher who is publishing my book. And they're the ones also getting paid hand over fist. I have no problem working with them. They tell me where to go, I'll be there. I might not take an airplane all the time. I don't believe in airplanes in particular, but I'll take my own car and I'll travel across the country, and they can tell me what's the next closest place. It's not that hard to figure this stuff out, but what they want, many people want greedily, is a well-known name already there that makes them instant money. 200% over what they put. That 1% might be 100,000 to me, but they want 200%. So how much is that? $20 million? Okay. Off the top of my head, I'm guessing. Didn't really think about that. What is it? $20 million profit they want for $100,000. Okay. All right. I see where they call them investors, but they are not angels. Call them demon investors, because they don't want to promote good art. Okay. And yeah, they got bank. They can, give money to a project that they feel will bring them more money. Okay. I have no problem with that. What I have a problem with is the return they expect when they're greasing that first time new artist. Anyways, it's neither here nor there, because I'm not receiving any regular donations either, because I started YouTube late, what have you. Anyways, it's neither here nor there. I'm going to work on getting things on layaway, slowly but surely, where I have the film equipment, where I learn what I can do with what sticks, what I can do with each settings, how I can do panoramic views, how I can learn to use not only a GoPro once in a while with the intermingled shots in my movie, but how will it work with the audio? You know, a lot of this stuff and the lighting, a lot of this stuff I look forward to doing. I also look forward to making scenes with little screenplays about what little things actually transpired. Okay, seeing some of the great movies by Dinesh D'Souza, you know, his historical accounts are pretty cute, but you can tell it's kind of tongue in cheek with the music. And it's actual what he's portraying is a historical account of something. You'll just see these guys all dressed up in their, you know, their garb. Anyways, I want to do something like that also, intermingled with great photography and great video of the beautiful lake I was raised at. And the historical narrative is going to be the meat on the bone of everything that transpired in this thriving community metropolis. And there's a lake right there. Everything that occurred around the lake, right there at the lake. So, anyways, in closing, I'm going to open this up and see how it looks. And I'm going to take a dip. Okay. Still got that golden brown look to it. Very apple, like a colder Applejack kind of tobacco smell to it still. It's like if you took a plug of Applejack back in the day and you smell it, you put it in the freezer and let it get cold, pull it out, it smells nice and tobacco-like and apple, I want to say apple aroma on the outskirts of that smell. Anyways, I brought a towel here too because this stuff is juicy. But I did this project now a year and 3 months? I did this project about a year ago, okay? And it was just buying pipe tobacco for, 16 ounces, a pound of tobacco at a time for $13 flat, or I think it was 11 and change. So it was $12 flat. And okay, grid down situation, you have no more store to go to because, the store owner and the distribution centers and everybody shut down because they're running to the hills also. And you're stuck there, like the Omega Man in some apartment, a couple stores up looking down at all the infected people. Okay, what are you going to do? You got some apple cider, you got some fruit juice you can simmer down and then add to your tobacco. Here it is. And it smells really good, actually. I love tobacco, but I don't love smoking it. And I've always loved the flavor of tobacco, and I always will. I've never had any issues, health issues whatsoever. And right off the bat, I can taste the juice back here on a tangy level, kind of sour level. Not that my taste buds are just activating, but some of the juices. Not bad. This would satisfy any Nick Fit. If you went a day without tobacco and you started to get those sour pangs in your stomach. Juicy. But not like a leaf tobacco that you chew on a little or squeeze it a little and then a bunch of juice comes at once and you gotta. This is definitely juicy. Some people that like tobacco back in the day, they would swallow the dip while at school so they didn't get in trouble. It's like, oh no, if they're still doing that and alive, you're looking for trouble now 40 years later. This is very good. I'm kind of amazed how juicy it is, but together. So it's not running all over my mouth like a fine cut. And I know I could suck on this a while and be satisfied. Couple minutes, 3 spits. Very, very tasty. And I said this before, delicious. Like the flavor in your mouth you like. And I don't recommend it for anybody unless they are ones that like tobacco flavor as it is already. And they're looking for an alternative source as a prepper. That's why I talk about guns often and politics. You know, our future is what the prepper always has concern about. You know, they want to defend their family. They want to have the rights protected, their gun rights. They want to have food when they want it. They want to have, uh, I want to say, they want to have enough riches in their lifestyle that they can sustain their family for the next generation. The kids are being raised up. They can do the same thing. You know, I don't mean they go out and forage, communities, when grid's down and, without rule of law. But, you teach your family basically self-sufficiency. And if you're going to be self-sufficient, how are you going to do that when your tobacco stores, your storage of tobacco in your own storage start running low and you got about 10 pounds of dry tobacco that are in freeze-dried bags and they're sitting there in a cool temperature and they're not getting hot or cold, but they're still dry and it's still good tobacco with the nicotine you crave, And you want that flavor, but you want something good. You don't want to just suck on pipe tobacco that's dry and very palatable, is the word. Anyways, this is very good, and I'm going to sign off. It's Sunday night, and I hope you guys have a very safe weekend. God bless you all. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your community, protect your state, and protect your God great United States. There you go. I said it. Have a great week.